We are, and Jake McIntyre will start the day's proceedings. He missed round one, but he was back last week, and there was an automatic difference when he came back in the side.
So we're underway at Ballymore, the Billcorp NRC, and an early take for Blake Enever for the Canberra Vikings. And now here is Staniforth, big lump of a lad, 15 Super Rugby games for the Brumbies. And Robbie Coleman at 10, and through the hands it goes. Fullback up there, Isaac Thompson, the man from Tuggeranong. Amazing conditions. We should see some free-flowing NRC action today. Straight down the throat of Brad Lacey, the man from Western Australia. Crowd thought it was a bit high, but it's play on. Still there for City. Brisbane City. Good pick up by Kurandrani over on the far side. Frisbee. And McIntyre almost through, and terrific support play by Reddy up towards the 22. Bit of momentum here for the home side. Houston pops one over the top, and Gunn offloads, and Lacey is up from fullback. So they're inside the 22, Brisbane City. Frisbee to Lacey, just probing around the side of the ruck. Now McIntyre. Luke Garntui got rid of one. And the big man has pulled down about 4 metres out. Real pressure on the Canberra Vikings defensive line now. Advantage is being played. Short ball to the support in the corner, but no, he just can't get it down. Still there for Brisbane City, and still playing advantage. So Frisbee out to Tui. This time he's tackled by Carter, and over they go, and it is a try. Terrific stuff. Try to Brisbane City. And Naisarani dots it down.
Yep, it's big Naisarani, the Fijian product. He's had a very strong season in the Brisbane competition. 2.5 minutes of non-stop play. Plenty of big hits, plenty of action. Huge run previously from Luke Garntui. Bumped his opponent over, and it was the big man, Naisarani. Luke Garntui gets his second carry in about 20 seconds. Gets the ball back, and you can see the big number 6 there, Naisarani. Staniforth gets him, but he spins his way out, breaks through that tackle and dives over in just his second start in the Billcorp NRC. He's a man to watch, Naisarani.
From the South Club, born in Suva. Scored 9 tries for Souths in the Brisbane Club competition as McIntyre misses the conversion. So it remains Brisbane City 6, Canberra Vikings 0.
And that man, Jake McIntyre, you saw him take the line on. He was one that initiated the line break and got Brisbane City down that other end of the field. Nice to see him take the line on. First couple of seasons we see him controlling the game really well, but as a developing number 10, he needs to improve that running game, and he certainly started well for his home side there.
So the Vikings kicking off, and that is out on the full. So basic error there, which won't impress their coach, Wayne Southwell. Well, they got off to a poor start last week as well, the Canberra Vikings. 60 points conceded last week was the most an opponent has scored against them. They need to plug some big holes in their defence this week.
Yeah, and that performance is very unlike the Vikings in the first 2 seasons that we saw. A fair amount of Super Rugby players in this Viking side. Some experience in key positions. Robbie Coleman, 10 or 12, played a lot of rugby, Super Rugby for the Brumbies. Andrew Smith in the centres as well. So they'll be extremely disappointed with how easily they let points in last week against an improving New South Wales Country Eagles side.
Nick Frisbee to feed the scrum. 2 tests for the Wallabies this year in the June Test Series. 54 Super Rugby appearances for the Reds, including 11 tries.
Let's go, hold it there. Let's play it, Nick. Let's play it. Hold. Flanker, hold.
Leroy Houston picks it up at number 8, and Frisbee. McIntyre just kicks it straight into Lasi Teliali. So the Vikings through Staniforth. Short side they go. Hamlin at scrum half, and the big men can't find a way through. Now Coleman looking to do something out wide. The fullback is up, Thompson, and they put it through their hands, and now Smith has it. Got it out to Andrew Robinson, who scored a double last week. That's the halfway.
Hold. You good, Cam? Play on. Yep.
Staniforth again. Can't get over the advantage line. But the penalty goes to the Canberra Vikings.
Well, Andrew Reddy penalised there for not rolling away, but it was a tough one for him. It was a really good tackle. He flew out of the line with good line speed, and he put a good shot on Tom Staniforth. Tom Staniforth himself, you'll see him put his hand up all day for ball carries. That's already his third or fourth. And Andrew Reddy sitting on 2 yellow cards for the first 2 rounds, so he's got to be careful of his discipline today. Otherwise, his third yellow card becomes an automatic week off.
So an opportunity to attack inside Brisbane City territory for the Canberra Vikings.
4-4. 4 man.
Vikings have scored 12 tries in their 2 matches, so their defence has been poor, but nothing wrong with their attack in the opening 2 rounds. But 11 of those tries were from inside the opposition 22. They've got to work their way downtown. Staniforth again, it's had a busy start. Inside ball from Abel. Up towards the 22, so getting a little bit of a roll on here, the Vikings. And it's play on. So turned over then, but then a little knock on. Spotted right in front of the referee, so it'll be a scrum on the 22.
It was well identified, that breakdown from Paraka, the loose head prop. He flew in, got himself over the ball. Referee Nick Berry said it was play on, but it was a knock on as he released the ball to Luke Antui. One of the strengths of this Brisbane City side is the fact that they've got so many players, especially in their front row, that can play on the ball, get themselves in strong positions over the breakdown. But we're noticing in the first few rounds of the NRC that referees have been really particular with just how accurate these guys are at the breakdown.
Brent Hamlin wearing the number 9 for the Canberra Vikings. Played for the Australian schools alongside Matt Tamua. And the free kick goes to the Canberra Vikings.
What do you want, Robbie? Okay. Scrum, boys.
Yeah, look at the number 9 there, Brett Hamlin. Hoylesy, he was given a great opportunity by the Brumbies. They took him to the World Club 10s in Mauritius, and they got through to the final, losing to the Western Force in that final.
Brett Hamlin actually came down to Canberra as an 18-year-old alongside Matt Tamua. They both came down straight out of school, and he fell out of the system but found his way back there about 6 years later, and it's really nice to see him kicking his career on again back in Canberra.
Playing for the Royals Club.
Set. Hold.
Staniforth doing a good job to get it back, and Hamlin to Coleman. Offloading. Staniforth again. Advantage being played. Brisbane City slow to get out of there.
Can you just watch the holding in, please?
You can see Patrick James there screaming. He felt as though he was getting held to the ground. So some good gamesmanship there from the UC Vikings.
Take the front. Yeah.
Jared Butler was named as the captain of the Vikings at the start of the NRC, but using a bit of a rotation policy. And Jared is on the bench today, so Robbie Coleman is the captain. And Robbie Abel, a man from the East Club and the ACT, throwing in, and then Hey, well, they caught them napping down the short side. Brisbane City, they were asleep.
It was far too easy. We got caught by surprise ourselves, Greg Clark, but it was a little play around the front. Brisbane City gave the front of the line out. Robbie Abel took it, and he marches over for a 6-pointer. That's right, it's a 6-point try in the NRC for 2016.
Quite incredible.
Yeah.
Very easy indeed. So Brisbane City will be aware of that at the next line-out, but Robbie Abel has his 10th try in the NRC. And it's locked up at 6-all. Another look at it here. Yeah, well played. Staniforth and Abel. Easiest 6 points they'll get today, you'd think. And here's a conversion from out wide. And it's not successful. So almost 11 gone at Ballymore, and it's 6-all.
Well, that man, Tom Staniforth, again, that'd have to be about his 8th touch of the ball in the first 10 minutes. That's no surprise. He loves to get his hands on the ball. High work rate, Tom Staniforth.
Now, Lausi Taliali, 16 games for the Brumbies, former Australian Sevens player. Coleman with the exit, finding touch just outside the 22. Well, the Canberra coach, Wayne Southwell, will be pretty happy with that reply, because last week they conceded 60 before they got on the score sheet. Frisbee bringing Kurandrani in, and that went backwards. No, it's knocked on.
He's knocked it into a red play there.
Lost it forward into one of the Canberra Vikings players. So a fair call from Nick Berry, one of the up-and-coming referees in the Australian rugby system. And like the players, Horsey, even referees are using the Billcorp NRC as an opportunity to progress their careers.
Yeah, well, Nick, being a former player himself, had a very successful career with the Queensland Reds and then over in France, and he finished his time at the London Wasps club, but he retired because he had a few concussion issues, and he's done really well in his 18 months or so in the refereeing game. And as you said, he's certainly caught the eye of Super Rugby. He's done 3 games, and I'm sure we'll see plenty more of him. Still very fit, and that's a huge advantage for a referee.
So it is the Canberra Vikings just outside their 22, and Isaac Thompson sends it down to halfway, and Alex Gibbon takes it to the 10. Frisbee looks left, but then goes right to Lukan Tui.
Missed it.
James offloading to Kurandrani.
Backwards.
Went backwards. Frisbee.
6 red offside.
And ready, and it's advantage being played. Staniforth racing up, got his timing wrong. He was offside. They flick it out the back, and no advantage there. So it's a penalty to Brisbane City on the 10.
6 red.
And it's a fair call. Tom Staniforth, as we said, eager to get involved in attack and defence, but just on that occasion, he clearly jumped the gun a little bit too early. Good work from the assistant referees. They noticed that. One of those penalties that really frustrates coaches in particular, because line speed's wonderful, but you'd much prefer to have discipline and connection. And Tommy Staniforth raced out a line on his own there. Brisbane City, this has been one of the strengths over the past 2.5 seasons for them. Their line-out maul has been solid, as all Queensland coach teams in the last few years.
Drop 1 red.
Andrew Reddy throwing in. Good clean take. They set themselves up for a rumble.
Stay out.
So Reddy has it trapped at the back.
Advantage.
Staniforth coming around, so he's been spotted by the referee. Advantage being played for Brisbane City. McIntyre out to James. No way through there. Good recycle, pick and go from Reddy.
Yep.
6 or 7 metres out.
He's good. 6 red coming round.
And they take the tap quickly. Frisbee throws the dummy. And he's over. It is a try to Brisbane City. Nick Frisbee catching them napping that time. His 5th try in the NRC.
And that's exactly what Nick Frisbee provides. He's spontaneous and he takes these quick taps, and he looked as though he was going to pass. He had options to pass short or long. Ball out in 2 hands. Had the Vikings defence on the back foot on their line, and he was strong enough and smart enough to find his way to the ground. Tom Staniforth gave away penalty at the line out, which was disappointing.
Good awareness, mate.
Surprised there's not a yellow card there, but you see a lot of these yellow cards come out because of these ill discipline. But Nick Frisbee, well, he's too smart for these guys, and just look at, he targets a few tight forwards. They're not back 10. And he fires out fast, ball in 2 hands, couple of dummies. And Robbie Abel just can't hold him up.
And it's going to be McIntyre trying to add the extras. Jake McIntyre started this round on 229 NRC points, and he was equal on top with Jack Debrasini from the Rebels. So he's been a point-scoring machine for Brisbane City, but I put the mocker on him because he cannot add the extras. So that's 2 misses. But it is Brisbane City leading Canberra Vikings by 12 points to 6. If you're just new to the Bill Corp NRC, remember the new scoring system here. 6 points for a try, 2 for a conversion, 2 for a penalty goal, and 2 for a drop goal. Issa Naisarani outside the 22, and a good carry in the end. Frisbee. The big men having a rumble. And now the box kick from Frisbee. It's going to come down, and good evasive skills from Coleman until he was hammered by Houston. Jackson Hope to halfway. Staniforth offloading this time.
Let it go.
Good copybook tackle. And now the knock on by Brisbane City. So turnover was good, and good pressure from Brisbane City, but then they cough it up.
It's the same 2 again. Paraka over the ball with a steal, and a bit of a loose pop to Luke Arntui, who knocks it on. He's frustrated with himself. Again, Paraka so good on the ball. And not just good over the ball physically, but his instincts are very good. Got a really good front row, this Brisbane City side. They can all play with the ball.
Larcy Taliali in 11 on the left wing for the Canberra Vikings. He's a real finisher. 18 minutes gone. 2 tries to 1. Brisbane City over the Canberra Vikings. The Horan-Little Shield up for grabs. It's a challenge trophy. Brisbane City are the holders, and they put it up for grabs every time they play at home. So Lacey taken by Andrew Smith. A good chase. And now the penalty goes to the Canberra Vikings. Holding on. Got isolated there.
Yeah, it was, in hindsight, certainly the wrong option from Lacey there. Didn't have much room to work with down the sideline, but taking it in, he just didn't have the support. The Vikings were more desperate. They got themselves there, and they created the picture. Nick Berry was right there on the moment. They looked strong over the ball. I think if he had his time again, he would have caught and kicked that one straight away. Brad Lacey.
6 are you, 9, or are you in the line? All right.
Robbie Abel. 2 Super Rugby appearances for the Brumbies. It's his 22nd consecutive Bill Corp NRC game, which is a record. Very consistent. The hooker for the Canberra Vikings. And now,
That's 1 sign.
can they keep it moving?
Still going.
Still going, says the referee. This is good work by the Canberra Vikings. Now they'll have to release. And Anova. Only 5 metres out. Coleman offloads. Good defence by City though, Brisbane City. Now it's Carter. Big Sam, 3 or 4 metres out. Hamlin wants to go to the right. And Coleman offloads and the inside ball. They're only a metre out. Just have to remain patient here. Abel had his legs chopped from underneath him. They want to go wide through Smith. He straightens and he offloads. It came off one of the Brisbane City players, so it's play on for Jordan Jackson Hope. Staniforth. Plenty of phases for the Vikings, so can they finish it off? Carter goes to ground. Hamlin. Coleman calls it to the left. Throws it back on the inside to Smith. Now it's Staniforth and Towler. Jackson Hope. And, well, was he in touch there? OJ Noah. No, it's a try. It's a try to the Vikings. So they have locked it up at 12 all.
Well, it's a tough call, but either way, both sides can be relatively happy with how they perform. Their defensive side from Brisbane City on their line, 10 or so phases, did really well, but the control, Robbie Abel involved very heavily there. Thompson at fullback jumps in as a second receiver. And lovely work from Jordan Jackson Hope down the left edge. And the big man, OJ Noah, he had a fair bit of work to do.
It's his first start in the NRC in 2016. Yeah, good skills from Jordan Jackson Hope. And was he in touch? Well, the officials were pretty happy with it. And this man has certainly been impressive in the John I. Dent Cup in Canberra Club Rugby. He was a joint winner of the McDougall Medal for the Player of the Year alongside Ben Hind and also Ryan Jones. And here is the conversion from out wide, and it is a beauty. And so for the first time in this match, it is the Canberra Vikings in front by 14 points to 12. The conversion successful from Isaac Thompson. McIntyre kicking off. Down to Coleman. Onto the left foot. And that will stay in the field of play.
Hold gold. Hold gold. Go now, go now.
So down to Coleman.
Very good now.
Mitch Felsman. This guy is quick. A double last week, but he's had no real opportunity so far in the match. And Arsi Taliali in back play, struggling to get to his feet for the Canberra Vikings.
Let it come, here it is.
Frisbee goes in digging for Brisbane City. On halfway.
It's your man.
McIntyre. The kick pass. Sits up for Gibbon. Oh, and Noah looking for a big shot there. Didn't quite line up his player, though. McIntyre. Isaac Thompson. Allows it to bounce, and this one will not quite go over the dead ball line. 22. So we'll come back to the 22.
Not a bad option from McIntyre. Probably just overclubbed it a little bit. Didn't make it contestable, and it rolled too far.
It's blood. Take him off. It's the blood.
So Lausi Taliali doesn't look to be in great shape.
Just make sure he's okay. He's off.
So he's coming from the field.
Come off.
23 is going on. And that is a very familiar name. Henry Spate.
Well, that's a handy replacement, isn't it, for the Vikings?
Providing he gets through this one, Henry will be on the plane to Perth to link up with the Qantas Wallabies as they prepare to take on the Argentina Pumas in Perth next weekend in the Rugby Championship. Talakai goes to ground. So Brisbane City, good field position as they try to hit back, and that's Talakai up the centres, in fact. And now it's Lukan Tui with a big run up to the 22. Knocked backwards fortuitously for Brisbane City, but no, the referee has had a think about that one, and he says he may have got the call, in fact, from the very experienced assistant on the far side, Rowan Hoffman.
Saw that huge run by Lukan Tui.
Got blood, mate.
Very similar skill set and body size to Will Skelton. We don't have too many of those guys in Australian rugby, so plays with a lot of aggression. Always manages to make an impact in attack or defence.
Number 3 receiving some treatment there. Leslie Lealua Iali'i Macon, the best name in world rugby.
Not many people can get that out, Greg Clark. That was brilliant.
He's had about 10 games for the Brumbies in Super Rugby.
You right?
Good even contest at the moment.
All right, let's go.
2 tries apiece. The Canberra Vikings looking for their first ever win over Brisbane City. They lead by 14 points to 12 at Ballymore.
All right.
Perfect conditions. Around about 23 degrees at kickoff time, 1 o'clock local. Towler, Abel and Macon in the front row for the Vikings. Baraka, Reddy and Talakai. The front row for Brisbane City.
Crouch.
Jackson Hope in the midfield, 20 years of age. Player with a big future for the Vikings and the Brumbies, they say. Oh, that's a terrific run. Robinson, great footwork. Andrew Robinson, they won't put a hand on him.
That's a fantastic try. Blind winger, started behind the scrum. Had no right to run 80 metres, Greg Clark, but every person you talk to in this UC Vikings side love playing with a guy like Andrew Robinson. He's been in and around the Canberra and the Brumby system for a long, long time. 2 tries last week. And he's such an honest, hard-working player who's got huge gas and lovely footwork. Magnificent solo try there.
Well, he had a double on debut last week and 3 line breaks. And what about that line break? Pretty to watch. Andrew Robinson, the 22-year-old from the Tuggeranong club.
And that was soft defence from Brisbane City.
Wasn't his debut in the NRC last week. It was his first one for the first start for the year.
Yeah, he played the first season with the Sydney Stars. Couldn't find his way into the Viking side in the first couple of years. But as I said, he's a really good, hard-working young player. Someone who's got a lot more rugby in him. And this is why the Build Corp NRC is such a good pathway for players like Andrew Robinson.
Wow, 22 points to 12. The Canberra Vikings. What a difference a week makes, because last weekend they allowed their opponents to score try after try after try before they woke from the slumber and scored 4 late tries to put a little bit of respectability onto the score sheet. But 60 points conceded last week, and here they are up against the 2-time champions, the Brisbane City, leading by 22 points to 12.
Fine.
Just a slight knock on there. Jackson Hope doing everything to try and catch that one, but it got away from him.
It's been a little bit scrappy at the breakdown for both teams. Very willing contest out there. It's nice and warm here at Ballymore. It's 23 degrees, so players will be feeling the heat at the moment. it's a very different Brisbane City side to the side we saw in the first 2 seasons. You know, you take out Carmichael Hunt, Liam Gill, Junior Lalawifi, of course, was probably the star of those first 2 seasons, and you know, they're bringing some young players through themselves. So as much as they were probably favourites because they won the first 2, it's a really even competition, this Build Corp NRC.
Well, in the history of the NRC, Brisbane City have won 19 of their 22 games. They've been very consistent. That's why they've been champions in 2014 and 2015. The Vikings 11 from 20 with 2 draws, and a full arm penalty for Brisbane City from that scrum. Straight down as the call against the Canberra Vikings front row.
And nice to see a full arm penalty blown, not given the opportunity. If you saw what it was for, referee Nick Berry, penalty straight on the spot.
Well, he's overcooked that one, just trying to chew off as many metres as possible. And Cameron Foley, the 21-year-old up-and-coming referee, has the flag today on this near touchline, and he's adjudged it to go into touch in goal. Wasted opportunity. 30 minutes gone in the first half.
See Henry Spate positioned in directly behind the scrum here. Fly half Robbie Abel stand on the left wing, so they've had a swap. Looks like it'll be a hit up for mine, Henry Spate.
Robbie Coleman on the left wing. So it's Hamlin as the pressure comes on from Brisbane City, but they dig it out, and now Spate having a run, and he offloads brilliantly to Jackson Hope up to the 10-metre mark.
That's a maul!
It's a maul. Can they get it out of there? No, it's not going to come out, so good work by the Brisbane City defenders.
And we thought Henry Spate would have a run. Nice little offload, but that's the risk you take when you offload off set piece. Henry offloaded post-contact, so he couldn't get himself to the breakdown, and Jordan Jackson Hope found himself isolated.
Offset.
Hope that doesn't deter them from trying to mix things up a little bit, though. Always a fan of seeing starter players showing a different shape to the opposition as much as possible. Keeps them guessing.
Set. Crouch. Bind. Set. Hold.
There's a shove coming from Brisbane City, and they get the penalty. Leroy Houston trapping it at the back.
Robbie, you right? Time off.
And we've got a problem here with the Canberra Vikings hooker Robbie Abel.
Okay. Time's off.
Well, it's taken 30 minutes for one team to get some ascendancy at scrum time. That's often the case early on in games.
It's your penalty, mate. What do you want to do?
Sides tend to take a little bit of time to feel themselves out, but when one side in particular gets fatigued, in that case it was the Vikings. Nice patience shown by Brisbane City. Leroy Houston held the ball in at the back of the scrum, clearly playing for the penalty, and good decision from Nick Berry.
I think that went fair.
And Stephen, you've been keeping an eye on the Millcorp NRC from week 1, and we're into the 3rd season now. What is it about this venue? Because Brisbane City really love playing here, and it's very hard for their opponents to win. It's a real graveyard. Brisbane City, they've lost just 1 of their 11 games at this venue.
Of course, they're a strong side. They won the first 2 competitions, but look, it's not an easy place to play, especially when you're playing against a good side. Conditions are always good here, which is they're always in for a winning game. And you look back in the last 2 seasons, the players that are no longer in this side through injury or moving on, the Liam Gill, Scott Higginbotham, Carmichael Hunt, Samu Karevi, they're superstars of our game, and so they certainly help to that. But this young Brisbane NRC side, they have an opportunity to uphold that standing that the previous side has done. So one of the better games or venues in Australian rugby to play rugby at, that's for sure.
Andrew Reddy, regarded by many as a Wallaby in waiting, but he'll have to get his line-out throws a little better than that.
You're off it.
So again, a wasted opportunity for Brisbane City and the Vikings. Just outside their 22. Oh, there was a little knock on in there, so it presents another opportunity for Brisbane City at the scrum this time.
Well, they'll just slow to react there. Brent Hamlin got the ball over the back of the line out and took off, but no one reacted to him. So quick ball from a good run of Brent Hamlin turned to slow ball, and they put themselves under pressure and came up with a knock on.
Canberra Vikings leading 22 points to 12 over Brisbane City. 33 minutes gone, first half. Don't forget, if you want to stay in touch with the Bill Corp NRC, we have the NRC Extra Time every Monday night, 8 p.m. Fox Sports 502. All the highlights from the 4 games every week, plus features. Houston having a run. Getting away from 1 or 2, and then he offloads, and it's been intercepted, and Spate puts it onto the left foot. Not his preferred foot from the look of that kick. And now McIntyre tries to fling it back in the field of play, but into touch.
Well, it wasn't exactly the perfect kick from Henry Spate, but it worked out well. And Jordan Jackson-Hope did well. He allowed Jake McIntyre to catch it, and then he forced him into touch. This doesn't look good for Leroy Houston.
No, he looks to be in real pain there.
You good?
Robbie Abel having a chat to the assistant referee, and Leroy Houston taking some time to regain a bit of composure. 48 Super Rugby games, signed by the Reds again in 2017. Leroy scored a try last week against the Western Sydney Rams. Had that long stint overseas. Played some great rugby for Bath in particular. So he's up on his feet, headgear back in place. And we're ready for the line out. Abel. Good take from Blake Enever.
Lucan Tui done well here, but he's been told to get back around. And this is a nice long maul. Always like a long maul, Clarkey. Very hard to defend against the narrow and long maul.
Well, it goes back now to Brent Hamlin, and coming forward is Lacey.
Fair challenge.
Fair challenge is the call, and Gunn gets it out to Gibbon. Kurandrani. Now Felsman on the far side, but wrapped up immediately by Andrew Robinson. It's going to come back for Frisbee, and Frisbee takes the quick tap after the penalty. Flicks a beautiful ball out the back, and terrific skills there. Gibbon goes to ground. Kurandrani offloads. McIntyre across now to Beecham. And Paraka out to Naisarani. Got away from one. Got away from the tackle of Sione Taula.
Release now, tackler.
Good meters for Brisbane City.
Hold. Ball still in. No.
Penalty to Brisbane City.
Can't come through there.
Yeah, he's got Robbie Abel. He's saying Robbie Abel's come through the side. It's a tough one for Robbie Abel because it looked as though he's coming through square.
Tackle release.
But Nick Frisbee again, he initiates so much play for his home side. Quick taps, lovely bit of footwork and offload. And on the back of Nick Frisbee's quick taps, it seems as though Brisbane City light up when they play like this.
No problem with that touch finder from McIntyre. So Andrew Reddy set to throw into the line out. Goes to the back, and it's been won by Canberra Vikings. I'll say it again, another wasted opportunity by Brisbane City deep inside opposition territory, but the loose ball has been picked up And it doesn't matter about missed opportunities because Chris Kurandrani has scored his 10th try in the Bilcorp NRC.
Well, isn't it funny how it turns out? They throw the ball to the back of the line out, they lose it, have the head down for a couple of seconds, but simple mistake from the Vikings, and Chris Kurandrani jumps on it and drags the defender over from about 10-15 metres out. And they get themselves back in this game with another 6-pointer. Close to the post. McIntyre should get his first conversion of the game. You see Jordan Jackson-Hope, loose little ball out the back. And Andrew Robinson tries his best, but Chris Kurandrani, right place, right time.
Not as big as his brother, Namani Ndolo.
Not many are.
And there's the extra 2 coming from the boot of Jake McIntyre. So it's 22 points to 20.
2 reasons there, Robbie. So you enter and you can't come through a collapse ruck. So it's ruck on the ground and you just crawl through it.
Canberra Vikings with their noses in front with 2 minutes to play in the first half.
Debatable.
Not the right time for Jordan Jackson-Hope to try and get the one-arm 50-50 offload out the back, was it?
Stinging, isn't it?
I'd like to have his time over again, no doubt about that. And this one will bounce into touch.
Nah. Can't delay it. Let's go.
You saw that last line out from Brisbane City. There's no need to throw it to the back. They're on their line. They were given the front of the line out, but they caught it to the back where the Vikings defence was strong.
Ready. Ganna wasn't clean, but it falls okay this time for Brisbane City, and Houston hits it up in midfield. And a bit of a rumble here from Patoa Paraka. Frisbee, in the end, figures the best option is to kick it down to Spate, who picks it up nicely. And Spate across field, and now linking up with Jackson-Hope, and he gets it over to Smith. Good tackle by James, wrapping him up ball and all. Staniforth off to big Sam Carter. Carter, where's the support? Good tackle from McIntyre, but Hamlin gets it out to Robbie Abel, went backwards, and maybe that was not the best option to kick. But he finds touch anyway, Isaac Thompson. They look to be on a little bit of a roll there, the Canberra Vikings.
Yeah, nice run from Andrew Smith on the other side of the field. Really mature play. A lot of people probably would have thought last line of defence, put the kick through, but he took the contact, got quick ball, and Sam Carter did really well after a lovely tip-on pass from Tom Staniforth. Again, Sam Carter went to ground and found the pop off the ground. Not enough pops off the ground in Australian rugby at the moment for mine.
So can Reddy find the target this time? Yes, he can. And Frisbee, he puts it into the stand at Ballymore. They have had enough, and that is half time in the Bilcorp NRC at Ballymore, and it is the Canberra Vikings in the rematch from the 2015 Grand Final, leading Brisbane City by 22 points to 20. Brisbane City leading the head-to-head stats, 3 wins to none. And Nick Berry, our referee, gets us underway in the sunshine in Brisbane. What a second half we are in for here. That's a good carry. Pick and go from Paraka, and then he offloads. Frisbee. McIntyre. Some solid defence from the Canberra Vikings as McIntyre finds some grass. And Robbie Coleman, who's the captain of this Vikings team this week, because the regular captain, Jared Butler, is on the bench. So no pressure there on Coleman. And Stephen Hoyles, he finds touch up around halfway.
Well, he's one of the more experienced players in the squad, been in that Brumbies side for last 5 or 6 years, although Jared Butler looks as though he'll be entering the game pretty soon. Number 20, he'll come on. And he's been one of the best players for both the Brumbies and the UC Vikings for the last few seasons.
Off back there, and Abel flings it across to Oakman Hunt.
No hands down.
Hamlin back to Coleman, onto the left foot. He picks out Felsman, across to Brad Lacey. It's in the Western Force program. Oh, big shot there. Coming in from OJ Noah. And now out to Abel for the Vikings, and running around as Coleman puts it on the toe, can't clean it up. And so it's there for Brisbane City inside their own 22.
Lovely little flick pass from Robbie Abel there. Such a skillful young hooker in our game.
Baraka, and he popped it out to Luke Tui, and he knocks it on.
And he's disappointed. He's filthy, actually, Luke Tui. It's his third knock on for the game, and all of them have been right around his ankles. And a man who is about 2 metres tall, I'm not making excuses for him, but it's not easy to catch the ball that's thrown to your shins.
Is that why Patoa Paraka has 1 on his back and not 9?
Well, I'm a fan of Paraka and his ability to get in at halfback, but he's probably just got to raise his passes just a little bit. Paraka and Talakai, they're a really interesting prop pairing for this Brisbane City side, because they get all the work done up front as you expect and need from a front row, but their ability to play in and around the open field, and Paraka finds himself close to that ruck quite often.
And there's a very interested spectator on the left. There's the Queensland Reds coach for 2017, Nick Stiles.
He's sitting next to Daniel Herbert, who's also heavily involved in the Reds operation. Fair few wallaby tests between those two men.
The brains trust of the Reds for 2017. Nick Stiles, coach of Brisbane City, took them to 2 titles in the NRC. Now he has the big job. And it's a tough job as well, trying to rebuild the Queensland Reds in Super Rugby.
Yeah, of course it's a huge job, but we've seen so many talented players come out of Queensland as long as professional rugby's been around, and before that, of course. Quade Cooper coming back's a huge addition. Stephen Moore will join, and he'll be there. I'm sure he'll play a big role with Andrew Reddy, and there'll be obviously another decent player in George Smith's going to turn up and put a red jersey on for the first time. So can't wait to see how George goes.
On the right of screen, the great Tim Horan, and these two teams here are playing for the Horan-Little Trophy, a challenge trophy that is held by Brisbane City at the moment. They've put it up for grabs here at Ballymore today. So Hamlin puts it in. Noah takes it out, and there's an opportunity out here as it goes back to Coleman, and he's driving towards the line. Only 1 metre out. Big shot coming in from Brisbane City. But it's the Canberra Vikings on the charge here. Still short of the line. Real pressure on Brisbane City. And there's the offload, and Abel is in.
Beautiful work from Oakman Hunt. You see him attract in 2 defenders and slip the ball away to Robbie Abel.
He has got a double, the hooker.
Thanks for listening.
He manages to find the try line very often in this NRC, but it was nice patience shown by the UC Vikings. Excellent work down the short side off a scrum. A nice little trick play down the right-hand side. A few pick and drives, but the Brisbane City defence held up nicely. So Tommy Staniforth noticed a bit of space out wide. He went to Oakman Hunt, who did really, really well to get his arms free. Here you see Tommy Staniforth, number 6, comes in, gets the halfback. Oakman Hunt, pressure on him, in and around Robbie Abel. Beautiful work from Dean Oakman Hunt.
And his first start for 2016, the Lucy for the Canberra Vikings. So he'll be credited with a try assist there, and the extra 2 points coming from the boot of Isaac Thompson. And we've got an injury concern here for Brisbane City. Just while we're waiting for the action to restart, because, Stephen, you played 115 games of Super Rugby, so many of them for the Brumbies, and you played alongside some of these players out here for the Canberra Vikings. Sam Carter would be one of them, no doubt, and also Robbie Coleman.
Yeah, played a lot with those two guys, in particular. Andrew Smith's another one. Andrew Robinson, he was hanging around the club as a young kid because his mother Mary worked for the Brumbies for God knows how long, almost 15 years. So nice to see a lot of these young guys that were coming through the academy, like Dean Aikman, Hunt, Jordan Jackson-Hope, Big Leslie. I'm going to go for a name, Leilui Ali Markin. How's that?
Close.
Close, yeah, well, I'll take close. So, yeah, a lot of these guys, and that's what the Canberra system does so well. They can control their juniors a lot easier than other clubs because of geographically how close they are. It's always been a good rugby program down there in Canberra.
So the captain, Sam Talakai, back on his feet. Actually played the full 80 minutes last week. '27 Super Rugby caps now with the Reds. Sam Talakai plays for Brothers, the Brisbane Premiers in 2016. Spate onto the right foot. Brings it down to Lacey. Thought he spotted a gap that had closed on him. The man from West Scarborough in Perth. Good clean out there from Baraka, and they just have to work their way upfield now and get back into some sort of rhythm. Sarani was the previous run, and now out wide they go. The layback is pretty good for Frisbee, and he picks out Baraka.
Hold.
McIntyre. Talakai out wide, and a flick pass from Kurandrani to Houston. Tui. Under 20 star, the Australian under 20 star, Lukan Tui. Another one from the successful Brothers Club. Talakai throwing the dummy, having a run, and he pops up a beautiful ball. And that's the 22, so a little bit of momentum here, Houston, but then I put the mocker on them because it's been knocked on.
He just hesitated there a little bit, Nick Frisbee. Wasn't sure to give it and double pumped, and
Play the first one.
Leroy Houston found himself a little bit too flat. You can see a little bit of fatigue starting to creep in now. A few hands on the heads and a few blokes sucking in the big ones. It's, as we've mentioned, nice and warm up here.
I'll get the tape out. Looks out. Doc, is he good?
As Brad Lacey, South African born, played for the Perth Spirit in the Bill Corp NRC in 2015, former Australian under-20s representative. So he's travelled a long way looking for an opportunity in 2016 in the NRC. Brad Lacey.
Fine.
Canberra Vikings leading Brisbane City 30-20, but you get the sense that there's more points in this game. Perfect conditions. And now Smith having a run. Good tackle from Houston. Carried back, so they kick it down the middle of the park and they pick out Felsman. Mitch Felsman. Just inside Vikings territory. Frisbee, flat pass out to Tui. Lukan Tui trying to steamroll his way over the top of Brent Hamlin. And now it's McIntyre, not Hell, so he gets up and has another go. Frisbee. Tui again. Frisbee puts it on the toe and just kicks it away straight into the breadbasket there. And this one is out on the fall, so he was inside the 22, so picking up some valuable metres there on that occasion, Hamlin.
It was a good kick from Brett Hamlin, but he would have loved it to stay in. There was no cover. If it had stayed in and rolled, who knows what may have happened, but a couple of huge runs from Lukan Tui.
Ready. Goes to the back, and it's been knocked on by Brisbane City. So Hamlin goes to ground. He then pops it up to Sione Tola. Staniforth.
Advantage over.
Coleman puts it on the toe. And it is going to sit up nicely for Lacey. McIntyre ready. They shift it to the midfield, to the captain, Sam Talakai. And Frisbee wants to play it at the other end. He picks a gap nicely between Thompson and also Spate.
There's a lovely little kick there. Nick Frisbee didn't come off the boot cleanly, but it found plenty of space.
That'll be a line out just inside Canberra Vikings territory. In fact, Brisbane City territory. And here is a big change coming on. AJ Noah, who scored a try earlier on, the man from Queanbeyan, his day is over and he's been replaced by Jared Butler, the regular captain for the Vikings.
He's off? Yeah, okay.
He's had a very good game. The big OJ Noah found himself with some strong runs and made a big impact in defence.
Who's coming back? I don't know yet. I won't give him a chance.
And Sam Talakai, the captain, coming from the field, and that's quite rare because he did play the full 80 last week and he's been inspirational for them. So 18 is on there, and that is Feo Fotuika. Received some treatment earlier on, so maybe they're not going to risk him. It's only week 3 of the Bill Corp NRC. McIntyre inside ball, as they were waiting for Mitch Felsman. Penalty.
No release.
No release.
No release.
Probably not the preferred option for Brisbane City.
No release. Slightly
scrappy ball at the line out and throwing it back on the inside to where all the UC Vikings defenders were. Would like to have seen them go wide on that occasion as the kick fails to find touch.
So Spate under no real pressure.
Red. Hold.
Doesn't put it out. Goes to Leroy Houston. Big number 8. Taken on halfway by Carter. And now Naisarani having a nice run.
Missed it.
Up towards the 22. Paraka.
Roll tackle.
Good leg drive from Paraka. Got himself out of potential trouble there.
Penalty to Brisbane City.
6.
Tommy Staniforth unable to roll away in time.
He's got a roll there. No, Robbie, he's got a roll there.
Some of the Vikings reserves warming up. Looking forward to seeing Joe Powell out there.
Yeah. No. 6 made the tackle. He's got a roll.
Good clear communication from Nick Berry with Vikings captain Robbie Coleman. Robbie was trying to say that he had a fair shot at the ball, but it was the man who made the tackle who hadn't rolled away that was penalised in Tom Staniforth.
Time back on. Let's go.
Really enjoying seeing how the referees accurately and efficiently making quick decisions at the breakdown in this Build Corp NRC.
Ready finds
Backwards.
Tui, and it's gone backwards, knocked on by Canberra Vikings.
Line out over. Yep.
Reminder, if you want to follow all the action in the Bill Corp NRC, don't miss Extra Time, NRC Extra Time every Monday night, 8 p.m. Fox Sports Channel 502. Highlights from all 4 games as well as features. Some of the players are even mic'd up. So we take you right into the thick of the action.
We saw Nick Frisbee mic'd up last week and they had a nice little feature story on Sydney Rays flanker and North Sydney captain this year from the Sydney Shield, Will Miller, the dairy farmer from Berry. So tune in tomorrow night.
Both just straight down, Bez? Yeah, cool. It's okay. Got a new prop. Okay. Yeah, so I want your ear to ear on the vine, okay? Keep your height up. Shoulders above your hips. Let's go.
In extra time tomorrow night, 8 p.m, Fox Sports Channel 502. The feature this week is on the Rams, the Sydney Rams, Western Sydney Rams loose forward Reece Allen. He's going to talk about his first season of NRC after a stint in Europe. He actually represented Sweden at test level. What about that?
Crouch.
And the Western Sydney Rams captain Paul Asquith has been wearing the mic this weekend as well. Good contest at scrum time. 54 minutes gone. Canberra Vikings leading Brisbane City 30 points to 20. And Brisbane City, they've got the advantage, and Frisbee gives it to McIntyre, and he can't control that one, so we'll come back for the penalty. What a fantastic opportunity now for Brisbane City.
Well, they're going for another scrum, and on that one it was a long scrum, but every time it's been a long scrum in this game, Brisbane City have had the ascendancy.
You're off. 2 and 9. Sorry to cut you off.
So a couple of changes, 2 and 9. So Robbie Abel for the Canberra Vikings, after scoring 2 tries today, gets a breather, and 16 is out there. Connell McInerney, and also number 9, Brent Hamlin, has been replaced by Joe Powell, who's in jersey 22.
Well, they've both played very well today.
Come back on.
Robbie Abel was fantastic in last season's NRC, and playing behind Steve Moore and Josh Man-Ray at the Brumbies, he didn't get a huge amount of opportunity this year, but Steve Moore's moving on. Who knows, we might see a bit more of Robbie Abel for the Brumbies in next year's Super Rugby.
Joe Powell in jersey 22, named in the extended Wallaby squad this year as well. Not even the first choice scrum half at the Brumbies, but they obviously see a big future for him. The ball trapped in there. And now a bit of momentum from Brisbane City.
Let's go. It's breaking up, Nick.
And they're being told to use it. Frisbee gives it to McIntyre. And Kurandrani on the angle run.
Release.
Frisbee got it out to Luke Beecham. Gunn. He has to fill the shoes vacated by Liam Gill next year, and George Smith will be there helping him out as well. Patrick James. Frisbee got it to Tui. Took a couple of defenders to bring him down. Now Frisbee goes wide, and McIntyre almost knocking that on. He pops it out the back, and Lacey picks it up. It went backwards. Frisbee, they just need to be patient here. Houston got rid of a couple. Leroy pulled down 3 or 4 metres out now, ready. Taken by Carter.
Got numbers out to the left.
A short ball though. The pop pass coming from Frisbee. Felsman goes into scrum half, gives it to McIntyre, and now out to Beecham. And the short side, McIntyre. Oh, so close. Now they set it up again. Kurandrani pops it out to Reddy. Good defence. And the pick and go from Brisbane City. Oh, and then there's a little knock on after all that. So many phases, and they come up empty-handed.
The Vikings are on the hands and knees, but that was an excellent passage of defence. Andrew Robinson on a try-saving tackle on Jake McIntyre. They had the numbers, Brisbane City, but they just took a little bit too long to get the ball down to the left. Excellent defence there from the visitors from Canberra.
Going down every scrum. Let's go. No.
The referee trying to keep the guys going.
Yeah, he's
A
off.
few of them looking for a breather.
And a good time to make a couple of scrum replacements. Last few minutes has been very taxing on the big men.
So 18 is coming on for the Canberra Vikings, Ray Dobson, and he's going to replace Leslie Leolua Iali'i Macon.
Crouch.
Joe Powell.
Line. Set.
Waiting to feed the scrum.
Come closer, both of you guys. Come closer. Come forward. Come forward. Knees are closer. Okay. Get your height up. Ear to ear on the bind.
So some new faces in both front rows.
Crouch. Bind. Set. Hold.
Get another good contest at scrum time. Butler picks it up from the back. And he's taken by UC Naisarani. Back to Thompson in the pocket. He picks out Gibbon. And across to Lacey. And now Felsman. Kurandrani. Oh, and a loose carry. And we're going to have a scrum. Just can't take a trick, can they, Brisbane City at the moment?
No, that looked a little bit promising. The kick stayed in, but there's a few slow forwards waddling their way to this scrum. It's been a pretty exhausting last few minutes of play. A few long scrums.
That's good. Last one was good.
Been impressed with Naisarani today, the big Fijian on the side of the scrum for Brisbane City. He's managed to make a huge impact. Like most Fijians, he plays a little bit off the cuff and always manages to find a few metres in contact and can get a ball free. Looks an exciting prospect.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
Gold's going straight down on my side, Bez.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Getting information. You need to come closer, keep your height up. Okay.
Another reset. Halfway through the second half.
That's the message.
10 points in it.
Let's go.
Head to head. Brisbane City have won this fixture 3 times. The Vikings, none. Bit of shelter from the sun at Ballymore.
Crouch. Bind. Set. Hold.
Powell goes in digging.
Hold.
Gets his hands on it and gives it to Spate. And Spate beat one, but the gap soon closed. So Thompson puts it onto the toe. And Felsman has to go back into his 22. A little bit of space for him, but he uses safety first, the safety option.
Yeah, if you get another picture like
So
that,
we'll
just
have
call
a
it.
line out.
That's for gold. 4 and 7, please. 4 and 7.
4
Tom
and
off, 4 and
7
7
coming
goal.
off for Brisbane City. So
4 and
Luke
7.
Beecham and Michael Gunn have been replaced, and running on there in jersey 20 is Criff Tupou
Time's off, boys.
from the Brothers Club,
Just hold them there, Cam.
and 23 out there as well. Jack de Gangan.
Okay. Time back on.
Coleman picks out Spate. Now Staniforth and the new man. Tupou races up
Playing
and
advantage for the knock.
it's been lost forward.
Nah, no advantage.
Nice immediate impact from big Criff Tupou. He's the older brother of Taniela, better known as Tongan Thor. Saw him play a little bit of Build Corp NRC last year, but he got injured, which was a shame because we we're all excited to see just how he went.
Just been a bit scrappy of late. Maybe that fatigue factor is coming into play midway through the second half. So coach is sending out the fresh reserves. Remember, there's something up for grabs here today. The Tim Horan-Little Shield, the Horan-Little Challenge Shield, currently held by Brisbane City.
Set.
And holders
Hold.
put it on the line every home game. At the moment, the Canberra Vikings have got one hand on it as Gibbon does the right thing for a winger. He cuts back in field.
Missed it.
Short side they go. And then Frisbee decided, no, there's a better option. I'll send it to big Lucan Tui.
You got the turnover.
And it's a turnover. And Powell flings it out to Thompson. And Lacey calling the mark, just wanting to slow things down a little bit. He didn't have a great angle there for the kick.
Here's your mark.
Another huge run from Lucan Tui. He can bump some players off, can't he?
Frisbee. He finds touch up around halfway.
You're exactly right though, Greg Clark. It has slowed in the last 5 or 10 minutes. Nice warm day here at Ballymore.
Coleman looking for options. Jackson Hope got away from one, pops it out to Spate, and now one of the try scorers, Robinson. Back to Coleman, Robinson teaming up again, and it's there for Powell. Advantage being played for the Vikings. Having a run now is Oakman Hunt. Bounce pass picked up nicely by Robbie Coleman. Trying to find a hole. Good clean out. Smith back to Jared Butler. Staniforth taken by Naisarani.
Still got advantage.
Still advantage for the Vikings. Carter tackled by Houston, and also Faya Fotuika.
13 gold.
So pretty long advantage, but
13.
he goes against 13 gold.
13.
Chris Kurandrani being offside.
13.
Good advantage played. Really good communication between Nick Berry and Joe Powell, the reserve halfback for the Vikings.
Doesn't matter.
Chris Kurandrani could be in a
Okay, he's led with the shoulder.
spot of bother here. So he wasn't offside. He
No
led
arms
with
in
the
the
shoulder. No arms in the tackle. So yellow card to
Do you want to do a sub
Chris
now? Yeah, go for a sub now.
Kurandrani.
Yeah, let's go.
Fullback, 15. Yep.
Let's go, Rob.
Yeah, that's the first yellow card we've seen. It's taken 65 minutes, and in the Bill Corp NRC we quite often see yellow cards, so it's taken a long time to get to it, but it's still been a nice, open, free-flowing game. As plenty of subs have been made now. A lot of tired men leaving the field. Andrew Reddy and Peter Paraka, their day is over.
And they go to the front, and it is Staniforth who was almost over. He pops it up to Butler. And Jared Butler scores in the corner, and that's a real blow for the defending champions, Brisbane City. What about the turnaround this week by the Canberra Vikings? Hammered for the first 60 or 70 minutes last week, and here they are now, putting a bit of distance between themselves and Brisbane City.
Well, it would have no doubt been a very long week. Every time you lose a game of rugby, it's tough. But when you get humiliated like they were last week, 60 points put on them at home, that would have been a long few days. And the exact same move they did in the first half. Tommy Staniforth coming around the front of the line out. It was defended better, and Tommy Staniforth pops it over to Jared Butler. Great instincts from both Staniforth and Butler. And the most experienced forward on the field, Butler, extends the lead for the visitors.
And a new kicker as well in jersey 21, it's Nick Juiced. Only 19 years of age, and it's out to the right, so we can't have the extras, but it's a handy lead now, isn't it? 36 points to 20 after the Canberra Vikings led 22 to 20 in the second half, so it's been lean pickings for Brisbane City at home in the second half. Notice 17 is on there as well for Brisbane City. Marcus Vanzatti. Still plenty of time to go, but Brisbane desperate to be the next team to score now. 15 makes his way off, Brad Lacey.
Great work off the restart again by that man, Jared Butler, the try scorer.
And a run there from Blake Enever. And Powell sends it down to McIntyre. Gibbon taken by Smith and Carter.
No, that's fine. Play it 9. Hold.
Frisbee. Penalty to Brisbane City.
Yeah. Roll away.
And for those at home watching, seen that scoreline, 16-point difference. That's 2 converted tries in the Build Corp NRC. So still plenty of time for Brisbane City to get themselves back into this game.
McIntyre finds touch. 15 metres inside Canberra Vikings territory. Matt Murphy throws it into Brisbane City, the replacement hooker.
Advantage.
Loose play knocked on there by the Vikings, and so McIntyre keeps it in play, and then into touch goes Faletli Sione
Let it go, just put the
for
ball
Canberra.
down. Put it down.
Quick throw in from Murphy.
Set, boys. Set.
But they'll have to come back because the line out was set, according to the referee.
On out, set.
We don't say that too often, Big Luke, until he sat on his backside, but his opponent, opposition second rower, Blake Enever, read that quick line out very, very well.
Murphy throws to Tui, straight down it goes, and cleaned up at the back by Frisbee.
Release now, tackler.
Tupou. And now running onto it is Naisarani.
That's a maul.
It's a maul. They've got to get it out of there. It's not going to come out of there. So good work in the end by the Canberra Vikings defenders.
Yeah, they're just more desperate in defence at the moment, Greg Clark. And on that occasion, big collision. Tommy Staniforth got himself right in between the ball carrying his support play. Number 6 on number 6, and Naisarani, the Fijian flanker from the Brisbane City side, just couldn't get himself to ground in time. He's been enormous today. Tom Staniforth has such a high work rate, a huge appetite for the tough stuff. As we see, number 19, Sockeye Tai, replaced Dean Oakman Hunt. Sockeye Tai has been one of the premier players in the Canberra competition for a long, long time.
Yes, he's won the McDougall medal as well for Canberra's Club Rugby Player of the Year.
He's also the brother-in-law of Matt Gidho, married to Matt's sister Christy.
Crouch. Bind. Set. Well done. Both packs there. Both packs. Yeah, both.
So we'll have a reset on the 22. 19 warming up as well for Brisbane City. Jeremiah Lynch, who hopes to get out there for his NRC debut.
Crouch. Bind. Set. Hold.
Bell puts it in. Here's a shove coming from Brisbane City. Real pressure, but they managed to pick it up at the back, the Canberra Vikings. Sockeye Tai.
Ball still in.
Staniforth.
Yeah, inside.
Back in the pocket is Robbie Coleman.
That's a really good clearing kick from Robbie Coleman. Very little pressure on him, mind you, but still.
6 gold, please.
Good
Robbie.
long
6
kick
gold.
off his left foot.
6
Not a big
gold.
man, Robbie Coleman, but has a
6
nice
gold.
kick on him.
Who's 6?
Well, a big moment for number 19 for Brisbane City, Jeremiah Lynch. He's out there for the very first time. The man from the West Club, 22 years of age, and he's going to replace Horan-Little Shield, who scored a try and has been impressive. Generous applause as well for the man born in Suva, Fiji. Well, Brisbane City, they haven't been able to score a point in the second half. Trying to do something about it there was Tupou. McIntyre inside ball. DeGangan. It went backwards into the arms of Lukan Tui. And they turn it over, and Smith gives it now to Robinson. He slips.
Not held.
Inside Brisbane City territory, we've got a couple of players down in back play, one from each team, as Jackson Hope has a run and gets it out to the support to Juiced, and now Spate. Back now to Powell, and this is good work as Carter finds an opening, and big Sam Carter is in for his very first try in the Billcorp NRC. 13 test caps for the Wallabies, 79 Super Rugby games for the Brumbies. It's his fourth game for the Canberra Vikings, and he's on the score sheet.
And a well-deserved try from Sam Carter. He's worked hard all day. It's the 75th minute. It's hot out there. It's lovely to see a big second row, 115 kilos. The support player on a multiple phase team try. Excellent work. A lot of hands involved there, as Henry Spate looks like he's going to attempt the conversion in Fijian style. No kicking tee required. But here you see Henry Spate to Joe Powell. Gets a nice offload, and Sam Carter has plenty to do still, about 8 metres out. Beats one and stretches out over a good 10-metre run. As Henry Spate shows us, you don't need kicking tees to convert tries this day and age.
Yep. Another string to Henry Spate's bow. And that's now a very good scoreline indeed for the Canberra Vikings. They were hammered last week for the first 60 or so. Managed to score some late tries to put some respectability into that loss to New South Wales country in Canberra. They lost 60-28 in the end. But here they are, bouncing back, and they are leading 44 points to 20. Pretty much have two hands on the Horan-Little trophy. And Brisbane City, champions in 2014 and 2015, showing that they are a work in progress. McIntyre almost running into his own man, Gibbon, and it's an advantage, and now a penalty. Offside is the call.
You're in front of him there, played the ball.
See Andrew Robinson struggling with a few cramps. He's had an outstanding game today, and all the UC Vikings in particular have played really well, coming off a huge loss last week. It's amazing how a shift in attitude can turn around a performance, and they've been desperate, not only with the ball, but for me, what's impressed me the most has been their line speed and their aggression and their physicality in defence. And that's nice to see a turnaround, and they're the attitudinal things that are easy to change. So on the back of that, things start to click, and they've managed to put on 44 points, plenty of tries. It's been a really good performance from the visitors, and they'll pick up the Horan-Little Shield for the first time in their club's history.
Connell McInerney from the Royals Club throwing in, and Canberra Vikings will be hoping to really put a nail in the Brisbane City coffin here. Running on to Fa'alei Sione. They're lining up out wide, and it is Henry Spate. Will go across untouched. Terrific work by the Canberra Vikings. Just put it through the hands. Spate had the overlap, and it's a pretty sight. Henry Spate with an overlap.
It was just a lot of class. The players are involved in the last couple of passes. Robbie Coleman, he shifted out into the centres, it looks like, with Nick Juice playing at 5'8", but it was a nice play, throw to the back of the line out. A bit of a peel play. The forwards got involved around the back, tracked it in some of the defenders, and plays in motion, running straight. Really nice, lovely executed backline play from the UC Vikings. So See the first breakdown goes here. Quick shift from Joe Powell. Juiced as well through the hands. Jordan Jackson Hope and Robbie Coleman, a simple 2-on-1. And Henry Spate, well, we might see him in a Wallaby jersey in the not too distant future again, Greg Clark.
Okay, and it's going to be Nick Juice to try and add the extra 2 with a couple of minutes remaining on the clock. From out wide, it's a good strike. It's over. It's 52 points to 20. And, well, they conceded 60 last week, and now they've put a half century on Brisbane City. The Canberra Vikings, they're back in business. Kick-off. Knocked back there by James for Brisbane City. There's James again, Patrick James.
Play on.
Backwards and picked up by Butler, but he can't control it. That'll be Brisbane City setting it up again.
Nah, no advantage.
No advantage, so we'll have a scrum.
Nice. Goal ball.
Looking ahead to next week, Brisbane City will be away to the Melbourne Rising, and the Canberra Vikings are back at home, hosting the Western Sydney Rams.
There's your mark.
And they'll put the Horan-Little trophy on the line. Not a lot of joy for the Brisbane City fans today. They were right in it at half-time. Canberra Vikings leading by just 2, 22 points to 20, but they've scored 4 tries in the second half, the Canberra Vikings. So they're going to pick up a bonus point victory, scoring 3 or more tries than the opposition.
Bind. Set. Hold. They still attack the back. Let's play it. Hold.
Good refereeing.
Yeah. Get it out. Here's one of the replacements, Jaden Namanu. And a kick ahead from Felsman, but well read by Powell. Butler with the pick and go.
Inside.
Hooter sounds in the background. And it's going to be a simple kick into touch by the captain, Robbie Coleman. And it's all over at Ballymore in the sunshine. And the Canberra Vikings, they have pulled off their first ever victory over Brisbane City. What an impressive second half performance in particular.